I have an incredible story of life before Thin Within. I was a obese, obsessive-compulsive overeater as a teenager, and I basically would make runs to the bakery and hide the food and eat it in my room and keep it away from anybody seeing that I was doing this. And I would go to the freezer and take out a whole coffee cake that my mom had there, and I would take it up to the room and eat the whole coffee cake. And I was a private, obsessive-compulsive overeater. And this is how I grew up in my house. And in order to hide it from my parents, I would also sit at the meals and eat a meal, even though I wasn't hungry, because I was hiding and eating at other times. And my parents knew that I had an overeating problem. But at that time, and sadly to say, even in this time, society dictated and encouraged you to go on diets as a way of solving the overeating problem. So in my parents' heart, they thought they were doing the right thing, when in fact, it was destroying my self-esteem and my psyche, and my whole life was really coming to a crashing halt as a result of being sent to a doctor who was injecting me with cow urine, and I was supposed to just eat protein all the time, bacon and steak, and I did very well. I lost the 20 pounds, but then as soon as I went off the program, I gained all the weight back. And you can imagine how this made me feel about myself. And my mother would be so happy because I'd be a new size, and she'd say, "Come on, let's go shopping and buy new clothes," and I would. And it didn't take very many months before those clothes just didn't fit me anymore. So this went on and on. I went on Weight Watchers several times, and my mom took me to the hospital, to a clinic, to this new idea of OptiFast, where I was fasting and just drinking all of my food. I wasn't allowed to eat. This became very embarrassing for me, because if I would go to events like weddings, I would have to tell the hostess, "I can't eat at your wedding because I'm fasting." So just living in the everyday world was an embarrassment for me, and I knew that this wasn't normal. I just wanted to be normal. I just wanted to eat normal. I just wanted to live like everybody else did. It got so bad that I did end up going to a therapist, and he said, "The way you talk, it sounds like you weigh 300 pounds and you're only, maybe 10, 20 pounds overweight." At that time, when my mother did start me on this diet, yo-yo, I was not that heavy. I got up to maybe a size 11. And then maybe I did get up to a size 13. But when I started, I really wasn't that heavy. But in my mother's mind, I think I was embarrassing to her, and she wanted me to, be pretty and debutante-ish, and I wasn't. So anyway, I continued to do the yo-yo. I went to the therapist. And of course, really nothing he said really helped me as far as overcoming my food addiction. So I went on to college, and I continued to be heavy there. I had my eating girlfriends there. We would go to like 7-Eleven at 2 a.m. and go get food, and So throughout high school and college, I did have kind of my eating buddies that we would eat together. And then after college, I moved back home, which probably was a big mistake. My mother sent me again to one of these fasting things where they gave you these awful meals to eat that just tasted like, they were just awful. And it was very depressing for me, because I kept losing the 20 pounds and then gaining it back, and then probably gaining more back. And I did get to a point where I weighed about 160 pounds, and I'm a little person.